tongue and groove into here, and then we'll show you how we're going to attach our floors. Down here, we'll have a floor in here and a floor down there. All right, so let me get this glued on here. Okay, we've got all of our partitions all glued in now. Now what we got to do is put our floors in. And all you do again, just like the base cabinet, measure from the inside to the inside. We cut a tongue on the front. Remember to flush trim that edge off where we don't have the groove. And on the backs of all these floors, we're going to cut a groove on the top. We're also going to cut a groove on the bottom. Okay? So to show you how we cut those tongues, let's just step over to our router table here. We stick that flush trimmer bit in there. Make sure the bearing is riding on the shoulder of our tenon right there. And here's how simple it is to cut them off. You just come into here. That's how easy it is to flush trim that tongue off, you know, nice and flush. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to take and apply some glue like we have been to the tin in the groove. We'll come into here, and that's what I'll do next. I'll get all those glued and all the floors clamped in. Okay, we got our last clamp off of the floors. All our floors are glued in now, tongue and glued in. Now, what we need to do next is put a nail rail across the back on the bottom of all these floors. And what you do is measure from the inside to the inside here, add a quarter. And what's our distance right here from the bottom of the floor to the bottom of the face frame? It should be 1.25 inches. But don't forget to add another 1/4 inch to go into the groove we have on the bottom of our floor. So we've got that piece cut right here. 1.25 inches, we add that 1/4 inch for the tongue. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to glue this bottom cleat in. What this bottom cleat does, this bottom cleat also is for strengthening the floor on the bottom, but also it's a kind of a nail rail where we can also screw the cabinet to the wall. All right, so we're going to, this fits into the, automatically lines up with the groove on the side of your cabinets right here. And it'll snap into that groove in the bottom of your floor right in here. So we'll just take a clamp and okay, once that's lined up tight, nice and tight, we'll bring her up flush. That'll automatically square up your cabinet. Right there, we're flush. And right there. Just a hit right. Okay. All right, there's our nail cleat in the back. Now, we can glue and clamp that. Some guys will sneak on the bottom of this floor, they'll sneak a couple pocket holes in the bottom there. You can hide them pretty good there if you want. But if you glue and screw that good enough, that's going to be plenty strong. So we'll continue to do that and put these back cleats in our other two sections. Okay, you can see we got our nail rails on the bottom clamped. Next thing we're going to do is put the nail rails on the top. And just like our base cabinet, we're cutting a piece, measuring the distance, adding a quarter, and we also cut that groove in the bottom coinciding with the tongue so that when we slide this down in the groove right there, right like that, see? So you're going to snug right down in there, and our 1/4 inch plywood back will be enclosed inside the two grooves here, the groove on the bottom and the groove on the top. But we'll be flush all along the back. Now, remember what I said? If you want to scribe this to the wall and you want to not have this sticking out, what you're going to have to do then is get a nail rail like this, a long nail rail going the whole distance, and cut the groove, cut the tongues, cut the groove. But on this now, what you're going to have to do on these middle sections is take a jigsaw and notch this out, notch where that groove comes out on the back so that your nail rail falls in. Then you can eliminate all of this in here so that the only thing that will be touching the wall will be this outside cabinet and this outside of the cabinet. Then you can scribe those two areas to get it snug to the wall. So you can do it either way simply by cutting the tongue and groove and moving it this way or that way. You can play with that. So we're going to take and stick this in flush like this and glue and clamp this up all across next. Okay, you can see we got all our nail rails clamped in the back there now, and the cabinet's pretty well done. The only thing we have to do is do the top. And what we do at the top, we just simply take a piece of plywood and have it come over the top rail and then the back cleat there, and we'll just glue and air nail that top onto there. That's all we do, okay? And we're not worried about this 1/4-inch piece here showing, because we're always putting some kind of crown molding here. Even with this top rail being wide, it allows us to put some big, nice, wide crown molding on there. You know, it really dresses up the cabinet, and it hides this edge right here anyway. So after you're doing that, your top cabinet is basically completed. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed watching us build the cabinets with this new tongue and groove system. I hope you believe in it as strongly as I do. I really like the strength, and I really like the accuracy of the joint. And I hope you have just as much fun building cabinets as I did.